Good morning. I hope you are ready for Chapter 5 of Endling, the last. Chapter 5, Rescue at Sea. Darrens cannot fly. We can glide, but we can't defy gravity. We can only soften it, turning plummeting falls into slow arcs. I spread my forelegs, exposing my glaciers, with all 4 inches of my deadly back claws digging into crumbling stone. I kicked myself away, thrusting toward the boiling clouds. Arrows sliced through the air like deadly rain. I caught the wind. The knife-sharp tip of a shark's tooth grazed my tail, just as the blustery wind filled and lifted me. Panting horses pranced and reared at the cliff's rim. I saw furious humans glaring down at me. Hard, experienced eyes planned trajectories. An arrow shot past, faster than a diving raptidon. It flew so near that I could see the color of the feathers, the design painted on the shaft, the trident head, and the thin filament that would allow me to be hauled back. A poacher's arrow. I let go the wind from my glaciers, gathering speed, and risk a mid-air cut back. Far below me and almost as far ahead, the Wabach stood in his boat, waving, mouth open, eyes wide. The boat was rising on the biggest wave yet. I banked left, aiming at this moving target. I felt the swift passage of time and distance as the boat smashed into a pillar of black rock, shattering the wood and splintering it. The Wabach screamed. This time I had no trouble hearing him. He leapt upward, not a great leap. Wabachs are stout little creatures, but enough. Maybe. I was gliding faster than I had ever done before. Between us, an arrow shot past. I dodged beneath the filament as the Wabach began to fall away. I spilled more air and surged like lightning. The Wabach reached desperately. I snatched one paw. The effect of his weight was like hitting a wall. Darrens cannot carry anything heavy in a glide. I somersaulted through the air. I wobbled and plummeted, but momentum carried us forward as the sea retreated. And there it was, the narrow V-shaped patch of sand. We plowed in a tangle through bubbling surface that grabbed at us both, tugging at our feet as though willing us to fall and be carried away into the depths. But one foot somehow found a fragile grip on wet sand. Another foot, and to my amazement, I realized that I still had hold of the Wabach's paw, and he had hold of me. I staggered and we fell into the surf. I sucked salt water into my lungs and coughed. I wondered if I was going to die. I wondered if my parents would be mad at me if I died. The waves were quickly returning, gathering strength to crush us against the cliff face. The first fat drops of rain fell. Up, I gasped. Climb! Black rock lay before us, rock that in a second would be underwater. But we were all frantic claws, scrabbling, fighting for every handhold, slipping, banging elbows and knees. I pushed the Wabach up and away. The wave crashed around me. I was helpless against its power. It lifted me, holding me, as I paddled futilely, all the direction loss. This was it. This was how my life would end. Foam covered me. Water filled my mouth and forced its way down my throat. But then I felt it. Something grabbing the fur at the back of my neck. It was a tiny paw, a weak grip, and yet it was enough to buy me a moment more. In the extra second I'd been given, I found a foothold and then a handhold. I windmilled hands and feet, panicked, indifferent to bruises and cuts, and my head came up and out of the water. Air, yes, air! I climbed. Just ahead of me, the Wabach climbed. Look out, he yelled. An arrow clattered against the rock. So close, it parted the fur near my ear. Seconds more, and all at once we were over the top of the rocky spur. falling down the far side where no arrow could touch us. The poachers couldn't reach us there, not without running their horses down the greensward and across a deep-cut channel. A burst of lightning lit the sky. The black clouds ruptured, pelting us with icy rain. I looked at the Waback. The Waback looked at me. We breathed. That's the end of chapter 5.